If you're in the market looking for a warm hatch, you're in luck, because this car here will be right up your alley. This car here is not your regular Swift. If you want to know more about a regular Swift, you can click on the pop-up icon right here. In-depth review was already done by myself. This here is the Suzuki Swift Sport. The Suzuki Swift Sport Mild Hybrid Turbo is priced from $108,900 to $109,900. The 1.4-litre turbocharged engine produces 127 brake horsepower and 235 Nm of torque. 6-speed manual transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 9.1 seconds. For more details on the all-new Suzuki Swift Sport or any other car, head on to sgCarMart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. Now this car is actually 45mm longer than the regular Swift, and you can see it from here. It sits 15mm lower as well. More importantly, the Swift Sport comes with LED headlamps as standard, sporty front lip, and most importantly of all, I reckon the honeycomb grille up front is the one that really makes the Swift Sport look that much more aggressive. I do have one problem, and that is the cost of the car. Now this car will set you back $109,900. So the main question you'll be asking yourself is it worth paying almost $110 for a compact hatchback? I say yes, because once you get used to just how lovable this car really is, you realize that you're actually getting a lot of car for the money that you're paying. So at the back, you get Swift Sport signatures all over it, right? So from 31, 32, and now 33, you always get these huge tail lights, different shape, but nevertheless instantly recognizable as a Suzuki Swift. How you differentiate it from a Swift and a Sport? Well, apart from this badging right here, the twin tailpipes that are incidentally real will tell you whether it's a Swift or a Swift Sport. Difference now is the Swift Sport now comes with a hybrid badging right here to tell you that it is a 48-volt mild hybrid system inside there. More importantly, boot space. Now this is 265 liters worth. It will obviously fail the anti-trolley length test, but you can still fit it as such. It is actually one of the worst boot space in its class, because if you're talking about the Polo, it's probably 351 liters, the Ibiza is like 355 liters, and the direct competitor, the Jazz Hybrid, is 285 liters. So it still loses out like 20 liters. But nevertheless, it gets the job done. You still have hooks here, so you can actually tapao food, but obviously that's another video for another time. This seat has been adjusted to John's sitting position as usual, and with that, I'm still getting ample leg room and headroom despite the sloping roof line. So I suspect people who are up to 1.8 meters wouldn't have any problems fitting inside here. And when you come in, the first thing you'll notice is that the back seats are all one piece. Fabric upholstery, which is my favorite, but importantly, it's just one piece. You get slight elevation in the center, but you don't actually see it unless you use your hands and rub against it and feel the elevation. Otherwise, it's just a one-piece, nicely put together sort of seat. So when you sit anywhere, including the center part, it's actually very comfortable. It's probably as comfortable as the seats at the side, and you get enough leg room as well because transmission tunnel is down low. On this side of the seat, you get isofix points as with this side of the seat. So if you are a family guy with a kid or two, this car will still fit nicely, because I would think that 3 would be able to fit here with absolute ease. For some reason, I don't know why the magazine holder is only on the passenger seat, not on the driver's seat. So all magazines will just have to go one place. Now, this car does not come with rear aircon vents. I'm actually not complaining about that, because when you sit here, you actually get a very spacious area. Like, it's actually more spacious than you would think it is, despite its compact dimensions. And because of the space, the aircon just keeps flowing back. Like, I can actually feel the aircon now as we speak. Elsewhere, it's all hard plastics. You can hear it. But again, I'm not complaining, because the Jazz is probably the same. You get a lot of hard plastics in the Ibiza as well. Some in the Polo, not as bad, but you still get plastics. This is, after all, a compact hatchback segment. Now, if you have seen the regular Swift review, then this looks pretty much the same, barring few differences. The first difference is, of course, you have red accents right here, as with the door here. It's quite cool, quite nice, quite tastefully done. Second difference is the speedo that you're faced with, speedo and tacho. The instrument cluster is now sportier with red lines across the tacho, or around the tacho and the Speedo itself. And of course, the last difference is the steering wheel. It now comes with red trimmings around here, as with the seats and the gear lever right here. But to be honest, I don't really like the steering. I don't like how it looks because it's half leather and half piano black plastic. I don't like this piano black thing. I'd rather it be just one full leather sort of steering because it kind of feels weird when you're holding, and it also looks weird. It looks weird to me, but it's definitely more premium. That gives you all the information you need, like the torque and power distribution, your boost, your engine and your motor rechargeable to the battery because this is a mild hybrid after all, your speed limit, your fuel economy, your range, so and so forth. Everything you need to know is all right there. This dashboard right here is very simply laid out. Again, hard plastics fill the place, but again, very forgivable. Now, this thing right here is exactly the same as the Swift. It's very easy to use, very straightforward, comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, but because of the colors, kind of looks a little bit kiddish. At least to me, but yeah. Right here below, you get two cup holders, and you get a space here to put your phone. Unfortunately, the car doesn't come with wireless charging, but I suppose that's fine because you get USB port and aux in right here, as well as a 12-volt socket right here. Now, this would be the highlight for the Swift Sport. I don't think you can walk into any showroom, authorized dealer showrooms, and get a car in manual. I think the Swift Sport is probably one of the last few to offer a car in manual. I can only think of another one in manual as standard would be the Hyundai i30N. Even that has changed to a dual clutch gearbox already, but this still keeps things down to the basics. 6-speed together with lovely handbrake right here. Now, the seats that I'm on is very comfortable, fabric upholstery, which is my personal favorite. There's going to be a problem, I suspect. It's very comfortable, it's very body hugging for me. I'm left with a little bit of space, so that helps me when I'm doing enthusiastic driving. But because this bolsters you very well, I'm afraid if you are someone who's wider and bigger than I am, it might get a little bit too uncomfortable for you because it might get a little too tight, because I'm only left with very little space, so I'm not too sure how much more it'll actually go. Last but not least, this right here tells you that it is a Swift Sport. This one-piece seat, which means like the headrest is not separated. I mean, like one piece, very sporty, very nice, and I just like this word right here, this embossed Sport. Question is, can this car drive as sporty as it's supposed to? Well, one way to find out. And now that we are out and about on the highway, the Swift Sport manages to keep up with the pack quite easily. More than that, I think it manages to perform overtaking maneuvers with ease, and I think that has a lot to do with the 235 Newton meters of torque, which is also assisted by the 48-volt mild hybrid system that gives it a bit of boost. Unfortunately, the car comes only with 127 brake horsepower, but you and I will have to understand that it's 127 brake horsepower because Champion Motors is doing their best to keep the Swift Sport in the Cat A category of the COE. That sort of saves you almost 20,000 because as time of video, Cat B is 60,000-ish. Cat B is about Cat B is 60,000-ish. Cat A is about 40,000-ish now. So that gives you an idea of how much you already managed to save. Now, on that note, when you buy a hatchback like this, or even a regular Swift, I think it's very important that you are able to see out very clearly, especially at times like this when it's actually raining quite heavily. It's raining cats and dogs right now, but I don't feel the fear. I don't feel like, oh man, I gotta drive super careful. I mean, yes, I have to be careful on the road. All of us do. But I'm not afraid of making lane changes as and when I want to. I'm not afraid to speed up as and when I want to, because the Swift Sport gives you that clear view out. And I think buyers of this car would probably not only be enthusiasts, they'll also be first-time car buyers. And when you fall into that category, having a clear view out is actually really, really important, and the Swift Sport does that. Now we're gonna get out of the highway and just see how comfortable this car really is on broken tarmac. Because for the past couple of days, it's actually quite... okay, it's not crazy stiff, right? But you do feel that this car is slightly stiffer than the regular Swift, but not to the point of being uncomfortable. It's definitely usable on a daily basis. I ferry the kids to and from school every day, even in this car, and I gotta say, I don't have any problems at all. Not one bit. Another thing you gotta note about this Swift Sport is this. It comes with a start-stop system that works very well. I think it also has a lot to do with a 48-volt mild hybrid system, and so, but you just got to get used to one thing, which is even before the car comes to a complete stop, the engine will immediately cut off. I say you got to get used to it because you're driving a manual, and more often than not, you just think that did the car die because I'm in the wrong gear, or is it because I forgot the clutch in? But no, I'm still in neutral, as you can see. Everything seems fine, aircon is working, everything is working, so no, and it'll start again quite seamlessly and quietly when I clutch in like this. So that's kind of cool. That's something I have to say the ZC32 never had, or 31 for that matter. Look at the pickup on this, man. There we go. And when you are going round the bends, even in heavy rain like this car is still absolutely lovable. So I can't go as fast as I want to because obviously it's raining, but look at the way this car goes. There's no understeer, even though it's front-wheel driven car, but it has a lot of confidence. Man, it's such a lovable car because it's absolutely chuckable. It's such a lovely car, man. Can you imagine what this car can actually do if the weather is actually dry? It's crazy, man. Woohoo! Look at that. I think the last time I remember driving a hot hatch, manual hot hatch, that I really had this amount of fun, also in the rain, is probably the Toyota GR Yaris. I think that would have been the last one. But obviously that is a true blue hot hatch. And that will obviously cost you an arm and a leg, but this, no man, no way. This is just an absolute delight. So the Suzuki Swift Sport 1.5 turbo mild hybrid, is it a will buy, won't buy, or go try? To me, is an absolute will buy. I'm saying it's a will buy not because it's a manual transmission car. That has got absolutely nothing to do. Okay, maybe it has a little bit to do with it, but but it's a will buy for me for two reasons. First reason, it's such a lovable car, man. This car is just, you know that kid who grew up rebellious and you just sort of couldn't stand him, the way he talked, the way he walked. And over the years, he sort of matured. He grew up to be a very nice, friendly, understanding, polite guy. This is that absolute the same. It just feels that way. To the point whereby you can actually just be good friends with that guy, can bro him. ZC33, you can bro this car. I sort of feel that way. Second reason, despite the car's compact dimensions, which make it so chuckable, you get a lot of space at the back. Like, you could easily fit 3, no problems at all. The only thing I think this car loses out is the boot space, 265 liters. It's sort of rubbish if you compare it to its peers, but I could live with this rubbish because half the time, my own car, I only have one stroller in the boot, nothing else. It's just one stroller. So I could survive with this car for sure. So it's definitely a will buy. So there you have it, guys. That's the review of the Suzuki Swift Sport. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I've enjoyed driving the car. Please do share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please also comment in the comment box below and let us know what you think about the Swift Sport, whether or not you will buy, won't buy, or go try the car. In the meantime, stay safe, be well. Ciao.